Mr. Lochran, any input from these folks?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, probable cause for the battery with an assault, burglary with an assault, and the ag assault. State's recommendation on the PBL?
25,000, Your Honor.
I'm sending your bond on the burglary with an assault of battery, $20,000, bond on the aggravated assault of $5,000, special conditions. You have no contact with the victims in this case, NHTM or YS, no return to location of the offense. Next court date, July 2nd for arraignment, Judge Ingram. You have a public defender. If you've got issues and defenses and things that you think a judge should know about, you ought to...
Judge, we cannot hear you over here.
Sorry. Usually it picks me up even though I'm sitting back here. I don't know. Send the bond at $20,000 on the burglary, with burglary, 5 in the ag assault, no contact, no return, PD appointed, PC found. Good luck, ma'am. Thank you. Lesser, what's your name, please?
Stephen Kochi.
Your Honor, Mr. Kuchia intends to either hire counsel or represent himself.
Yes, sir. So this was a arrest warrant. The state did file an information. They filed ag battery, domestic battery by strangulation, false imprisonment, and tampering, which I think were the same as in the warrant, Mr. Lochran?
That is correct, Your Honor.
The bonds were increased to no bond on the tampering, the false imprisonment, and domestic violence because they were DV? Is that why they were increased to no bond?
I believe so, yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And Mr. Lochran, any communication from the victim in this case?
Yes, we have, Your Honor. The victim does not want to have any contact with the defendant. She's requesting a GPS monitor, and presuming the judge is inclined to give him a bond. She's afraid of him, afraid of what will happen if he is released.
Am I reading this PTR sheet correctly, that there's a, an outstanding warrant in 17562?
That's what this,
Oh, no, that's what this is.
that's this case. But he does have two other, there's a bench warrant, there's two warrants out of Indian River County.
Because they're two different case numbers. One is here for today, and that's a different case number. Same charges.
17562. I see that's, are you sure, Lisa? Because it looks like,
I didn't know what to do with it, that's why I put it out there.
it looks like it's the same case number.
Let me make sure. The affidavit is for 2019 CF 17562 CFA. That's the affidavit.
So, right, it seems like there's one case here we're dealing with.
There is. Well, he was extradited back from Connecticut.
He's actually back from Connecticut.
Yes.
Okay. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I mean, I think that the judges on the warrant issued the bonds in error. I think that in a domestic violence case, it should be no bond until first appearance. So I'm going to make that finding. And I don't really think there's a bond that can be set that is based on my reading of the affidavit and the facts in there, taking them as true, that there's a bond that would keep the victim safe in this case. According to the public defender, no, you're going to hire your own attorney, you said.
Yes, sir. I was in Connecticut. I mean, no threat.
Huh?
I was in Connecticut. I want to go back to Connecticut. I show up for my court days.
Yeah. So how are you going to hire? Are you going to hire an attorney in Florida?
I already have a down payment on Andy Metcalf at Indian River County.
Okay. So you're going to be hiring Mr. Metcalf?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So he can set up a bond hearing for you, but for purposes of today, I'm setting your bond at no bond based on the provision of the statute that allows for me to set a bond at no bond based on no bond that I feel can provide for the safety of the victim. Mr. Metcalf will file a bond hearing for you, I'm quite sure, and the state will have more opportunity to talk to the victim then, have a bond hearing, and the circuit judge can figure out what the appropriate bond is.
Yes, sir.
Good luck. Thank you.
Your Honor, I did ask for a GPS as well.
Okay. If you're able to, right now it's no bond, but if you're able to be released at some point, and I suppose, Mr. Loughlin, that the circuit judge who does the bond hearing can change this, but for right now, it'll be GPS monitoring provided by Sentinel, 1,000-foot exclusion zone, where the victim lives, works, goes to school, et cetera, if he's able to somehow get that changed. He's in jail now, so I'm going to make a finding that he's indigent for the cost of Sentinel, given the fact that he's currently in jail and obviously not employed. And I think it's kind of I don't think he's going to be able to
No, I don't either.
get out, obviously not a no bond right now anyway, and so the circuit judge can further develop that, but, so, that's the final. Good luck, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And Deputy, you'll let me know when we get a new group? We start the
Yeah, I'm
group?
working on trying to get, I got some new guys, I still got some more, and the females.
Okay, but you just let me know when we do the last of the existing people. Sir, what's your name, please?
Abul Hassan Derek.
Okay, Mr. Abul Hassan, you live in Lake Mary?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sir, you make too much money or you have too much assets to qualify for the public defender at this time?
Roger.
So, you have family in Lake Mary?
Yes.
They know you're in jail?
Yes.
They're working on helping you bond out?
If I can get my bond a little bit lower.
Probable cause of the possession. Who's going to help you bond out of jail?
My mother and father.
They listening right now?
I think so, yes.
So I suppose they have to make a decision whether it makes sense to bond you out of jail or not, or let you stay in jail to kind of clean yourself up a little bit and try to find you a rehab. Because it appears that you got a problem.
Yes,
You don't
sir. I
have
do.
to say anything. I wouldn't say anything. I just, hopefully they're listening and they've got to make that decision. I'm sure they want their son out of jail, but, you know, if they read the police report, they might see that appears you're a little bit out of control and you might be safer in jail, but that's up to them. I'm going to leave the bond exactly where it's at so that they have to make a real decision about whether they want to bond you out or not.
Okay.
Special condition, no possession or consumption of alcohol or illegal drugs. And hope you get some help. Good luck to you. Thank
Yes-
you.
yes, sir.
All the same. No PD appointed. That was Mr. Abersham. This is Dadisman, which is 24. Hello, sir. You Mr. Dadisman?
Yes, sir.
All right, let me take a look at your case. Okay, Mr. Kennedy, did Mr. Dadisman apply for the public defender?
I did.
Sir, I got his application, you didn't fill it out.
I did.
You did, you're gonna answer the questions. You're gonna answer these yes or no. So do it right here. All these, either yes or no.
All right.
You answered yes to this one. Trust or gifts?
Yes.
How much?
550 a month.
No, no. That's what you get out of a trust?
550 a month.
You don't get social security or nothing?
No.
Cash, bank accounts?
No, no to everything.
See, now you're done. Yay. Here it is.
Thank you.
What? 550. Sorry.
So how much, where do you work at?
I have a personal training business,
Okay, how much money do you make a week?
between 300 to 500.
What's the average?
Yeah, I'd say closer to 3. It varies. I haven't been able to work lately due to an injury.
Okay, PC found, burglary, unoccupied structure, 5,000 each times 2. Criminal mischief, 5,000. Possession of burglary tools, 5,000. Resisting without, 1,000. No return to the location of the offense. PD appointed, PC found. Good luck, sir.
What's the bond?
21,000. Good luck.
Judge, could you repeat those bonds, please?
Yes. 5,000 burglary, 5,000 criminal mischief, 5,000 possession of burglary tools, 1,000 resisting.
Did you appoint on that case?
Appointed the public defender, correct.
Have a seat right there.
Brian Hicks. 43 in the docket. Hello, sir, you Mr. Hicks? 43, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43. Mr. Hicks. Mr. Hicks, are you interested in resolving your case today?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Loughlin, this is a case you guys, as a friend of the court, in your case, Mr. Kennedy, or did they already appoint? Or did they already apply, I should say? I know I didn't appoint.
The answer to your question, 5 days in Brevard County Jail, credit for time served.
Okay. Mr. Hicks, if you want to resolve the case today, it would be 5 days Brevard County Jail, credit for the 1 or 2 you've already served.
All right, sir. Thank you.
You know what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
You do? Raise your right hand. This is where testimony about this is Mr. Hicks. He does 1 or 2 days, please. Thank you. Sir, this is where the testimony about to give me this, please. With the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you. Mr. Hicks, you're about to enter a plea in a criminal case that's going to result in a misdemeanor conviction, and in doing so, you give up your right to a hearing or a trial and to a lawyer. Is that what you want to do?
No, I want an attorney appointed to me.
Okay. Well, do you want to accept that plea?
Sir?
You want to accept the plea of 5 days and be done with the case today?
Well, yes. Yes, sir.
So I could appoint the attorney for you, or I could not appoint him, save you the $50, and if you have a question, you could probably ask Mr. Kennedy. He's probably willing to give you some advice. But if you want to resolve it today, we would do it without an attorney. That would save you the public defender application fee. You get 5 days Brevard County Jail. You've already done 2. That means you'd have 3 left. And that would be it for the case. So it would be a conviction, but you'd be done with the case today.
Okay, sir.
Is that what you want to do?
Sure.
So you promise to tell me the truth in the plea?
Yes, sir.
Okay? And you don't want a lawyer, you don't want a trial, you just
No,
want
I want a lawyer, but I
And then Osceola.
Good morning.
Morning.
We can see you, we can hear you.
Okay, same here on our end. So we're going to start. First person is Hakeem Bell. Are you here this morning?
We would ask for a reset, Your Honor. He's still in hospital. We'd ask for a reset for 24 hours after he's released.
Okay, we'll go ahead and reset this 24 hours after he's released.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thanks. Okay. Next, we have George Bonet Ortiz.
Bonded, Your Honor.
Okay. Eugene Carrasco.
PD approved.
Okay, thank you. Please state your name for the record. You can grab the microphone, it's right next to you. You can grab the microphone right next to you so you can hear.
Eugene Carrasco.
Thank you. Okay, you do qualify for the Public Defender's Office, so I'm going to go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. You're being charged here with a violation of probation. I'm finding probable cause. And there'll be no bond. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor,
Yes?
could we give the previous one, Bonet Ortiz, what happened to that?
He bonded out.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. And for the record, Peter Donnelly for the State Attorney's Office.
Thank you. Kermic Crespo Rivera. We're here for 2 cases. Kermic Crespo Rivera.
He's PD approved, Your Honor. And
Okay.
for the record, Callie Chrysler, Assistant Public Defender.
Thank you. Go ahead and please state your name for the record. You can use the microphone next to you.
Pick it up. State your name.
Kirk McCrespo Rivera.
Okay. Good morning. We're here today in regards to 2 separate cases. You are PD approved, so I'm going to go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you for both cases. The first case is failure to appear, so I find probable cause. In regards to the second case, it is a violation of probation. I find probable cause and no bond for that charge. But for the first one, I'll give $2,000 bond. So the first charge is $2,000,
Yes, Your
second
Honor.
is none.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, the COs have asked that Luis Natal Monage be taken next. They've brought him in.
Let me see if I can get his
It's
paper.
the reset from yesterday.
Is that in the stack over here? Luis
It's the-
Natal.
It was the.
I've got it.
We were missing the. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so I'll call Luis Natal Monge. Please state your name for the record.
Vinadal.
Okay. Is he PD approved?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent him. What says the state in regards to this case?
Your Honor, the state's seeking no bond in this case. The arrest warrant specifically states count 1, count 2, 0 bond. The state's seeking the court to find that proof evident presumption great in this case. A person who knows the defendant personally stated that the defendant admitted to the shooting after being asked to do the shooting, and that the defendant made claims about the shooting that would only be known by someone who was at the shooting.
What says?
Your Honor, we would argue that, that is not enough. The police report is hearsay in and of itself. There is no written affidavit signed by the person saying that information, and that it is not enough for proof evident presumption great.
Your Honor, as to
And
the
that would be under Preston v.G.
Says the state?
That's the hearsay, that's party opponent and a statement against interest. The state maintains its position. This is proof evident presumption great.
Again, it's Preston v.G. 133 Southern 3rd, 1218, decided in the second DCA in 2014. The police report that it would not be sufficient for proof evident presumption great. I mean, a high bond could be stated, but he is entitled to bond by his constitutional rights entitled him to bond, and yeah.
I'm rereading the arrest warrant. I'm going to find probable cause. I want to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent the defendant.
Yes, Your Honor.
Going to find no bond, proof evident presumption great.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. That's it. We're good. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Eugene Doyle.
He's PD approved, Your Honor.
Okay. Go ahead and please state your name for the record.
Eugene Doyle.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to go ahead and represent you. I find probable cause for this battery. I'm going to set a bond at $3,500. No contact with the victim, no return to the offense, do not possess weapons or firearms.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Billy Joe Fish.
I believe so. Your Honor, with Doyle, PTR would like to know, is that with PTR?
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Fish, go ahead and state your name for the record.
Billy Joe Fish.
If you use the microphone, we can hear you.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah, no worries.
Billy Joe Fish.
Okay, thank you. Does she qualify for PD?
Yes, Your Honor, she does.
Okay, I'll go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. I'm finding probable cause. You're charged with knowingly driving on a suspended driver's license or a dwellist with knowledge. I'm going to go ahead and set your bond in the amount of $500.
Your Honor, we would argue that this is part of the state attorney's policy for ROR, and we would ask that she be released on her own recognizance.
What does the state say?
State agrees.
Okay, go ahead and ROR.
Thank you.
Next we have Adriel Gonzalez Perez.
PD approved, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead and state your name for the record. I'm sorry, if you use the microphone, we can hear you.
Pick up the phone.
Adriel Gonzalez.
Okay, thank you. Good morning. You are PD approved, so I'm going to go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to go ahead and represent you. We're here today on 3 charges. The court is finding probable cause. Those 3 charges are possession of marijuana under 20 grams, possession of drug paraphernalia, and tampering with evidence. I'm going to go ahead and set bond. Count 1, $250. Count 2, $250. Count 3, $2,500.
Your Honor, I would argue that probable cause in this is, these are merely legal conclusions. We have no reason for the stop. We have no reason of anything beyond that. It's basically a recitation of the statutory requirements.
Okay, a motion can be filed in front of the judge who's hearing the case.
Yes, Your Honor. Go ahead, stop.
There's also a different case in regards to Adriel Gonzalez Perez. It's case number 2018 CF 4401. The court's going to take no action at this
Yes, Your
time.
Honor.
Your Honor, could I get the bond amounts?
Okay.
For Gonzalez Perez?
Yes.
Okay. Count 1, $250. Count 2, $250. Count 3, $2,500.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Welcome. And I'm taking no action on 2018 CF 4401. Next, we have.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Next, we have Carson Haid. Carson Haid. Please state your name for the record.
Carson Hay.
Okay. Is he PD approved?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. I'm finding probable cause. You're here today on synthetic narcotics possession and possession and use of drug paraphernalia. What says the state on the issue of bond?
State would be seeking the scheduled $10,000 bond and a residual $100 bond.
Okay. What says the defense?
We would ask for a reasonable bond that he could afford in this case.
I'll lower the bond from count 2, but not for count 1. So count 1 will be $10,000, count 2 will be $100. If he still can't afford that, he can file a motion in front of the judge presiding over the case.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Alana Jenkins. We're here for 2 cases in regards to
PD.
Ms. Jenkins.
PD approved, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Jenkins, I'm going to go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office for both of your cases. Go ahead and state your name for the record.
Elena Jenkins.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're here today in regards to failure to register as a convicted felon and also operating a motor vehicle with no valid driver's license. I'm going to find probable cause for both cases. PD's appointed in regards to both cases.
Yeah.
What says the state in the issue of bond?
State would be seeking $250 in each case.
What says defense?
That's fine, Your Honor.
Okay, $250 for each case then.
No objection. Okay. Yeah.
Felix
You're good.
Yarez.
PD approved, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's
And
Office to
he's-
represent him.
He's standing in the middle back, Your Honor.
Okay, is there any way to bring the
Can you
mic?
see him?
The mic, yes, I can see him, but is there any way I can bring the microphone to him so that he can state his name for the record?
He's being brought up, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Once I have his name on the record, he can go back to the back if he needs to.
Yes, Your Honor.
Just want to make sure we have the right person.
Yes, Your Honor. State your name.
Please state your name for the record.
Felix Jerez.
Okay. You are PD approved, so I'm going to go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you today. You're charged here today with battery. I am finding probable cause. What says the state?
Your Honor, the state would be seeking scheduled monetary bond, no contact with the victim.
Going to order $1,000 bond, no contact with the victim, no return to the scene of the offense,
And no weapons as well.
and no weapons and firearms.
Your Honor, we would ask for PTR with mental health conditions.
No, we're going to keep it as a monetary bond.
Yes, Your Honor.
Next, we have Eric Jobson.
He's PD approved, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent him. Find probable cause on this case, which is violation of probation. I'm going to set the bond at none.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Here for Zachary Lopez. Please state your name for the record.
Zachary Lopez.
Okay, is he PD approved?
Yes, Your Honor, he's PD approved.
Was that a yes?
Yes, Your Honor, he was.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent him. Find probable cause for what he's charged with today, which is a dwellis or driving while license suspended, third offense. Bond is going to be set at $2,500. No driving without a valid driver's license.
Your Honor, since this is a driving case as well, would the state recommend ROR?
What says the state?
No, Your Honor, the state's seeking the monetary bond.
This is the third offense, so we're going to keep it
Yes,
as a
Your Honor.
monetary bond. Thank you.
The defendant's also
Yes, Your
currently
Honor.
out on bond on another driving while license suspended case.
Yes, I see that. I'm going to take no action on that case. That's 2019 CT 706.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
Next is Donald Miller. Please state your name for the record.
Donald Miller.
He's PD approved.
I'm going to go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. You're charged here today with petty theft. I'm going to fine PC. Set a bond at $500 and no return to Publix. Thank you.
Yeah, have a seat.
Dondre Morgan.
PD approved, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent him. Please state your name for the record.
DeAndre Morgan.
Okay. Okay. You're here in regards to having your license suspended with knowledge. I'm finding probable cause. What says the state on the issue of bond?
Your Honor, state would seek ROR.
Okay. Do ROR.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
Joshua O'Connor.
He refused to fill out an affidavit, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. O'Connor, do you wish the appointment of the Public Defender's Office, or are you going to seek your own attorney? You going to hire one?
Own attorney.
I'm sorry, it's hard for me to hear you.
My own attorney.
You're going to hire your own attorney? Do you want to move forward with your hearing today, or do you want to reset it so that your attorney can be present?
No, you do it now.
You want to have it now?
Bond could be.
Okay, we'll go ahead and have it now then. Okay. You're charged with 4 counts, burg dwelling, unarmed, grand theft, less than $300, criminal mischief, and possession of burglary tools. I'm going to find probable cause on all 4 counts. I'm going to set a bond on all 4 cases today. First count, the bond is $5,000. Second count, $500. Third count, $500. Fourth count, $500. For total bond amount of $6,500.
State also seeks no contact, no return.
Yes, no contact and no return. Orlando Padilla Miranda. Orlando Padilla Miranda.
PD approved, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you at this time. Go ahead and state your name for the record.
Orlando Bahia Miranda.
Okay. You're here today on a failure to appear on a written promise. I'm going to find probable cause. Bond is set at $2,999. Thank you. Next, we have Rios Martin Eliezer.
PD approved, Your Honor. Pick up in a second.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent him. Please state your name for the record.
Eliezer Rios, Martyr.
You're charged with DUI accident and DUI alcohol. I'm finding probable cause for both. Set bond on count one, $1,000, count two, $500, and the condition of do not consume alcohol. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a seat.
Next up, we have Jorge Riveras, if I'm pronouncing that correct.
PD approved,
Thank you.
PD approved, Your Honor.
Go ahead and please state your name for the record.
Jorge Rivas.
Okay. We're here today in regards to a battery case. I'm finding probable cause. I'm going to set bond at $1,000, no contact with the victim, maintain separate residence. Thank you. And I'm not going to take any action on the other case which you had, which is 2019 CT 1154.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Next, we have Joseph Thomas.
He's still in medical, Your Honor. Could we reset?
Yeah, we'll reset. Do you want to reset for 24 hours or reset within 24 hours of when he gets released?
Oh, when he gets released.
Okay, 24 hours when he gets released. Reset.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thanks. Stephen Erickson.
PD approved, Your Honor.
Okay. I'll go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent him for these two cases that we have. Go ahead and state your name for the record.
Steven Erickson.
Thank you. We're here for two cases. They are both violations of probation on view. If I find probable cause for both, appoint Public Defender's Office to represent you in both cases. I'm going to set zero bond on both cases. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Joseph Michael Jr.
PD approved, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Come on up. Yep, right there.
Please state your name for the record.
Michael McDonald, Your Honor.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. I'm finding probable cause on this case of trespass after warning. What says the state in regards to bond?
Your Honor, the state would be seeking the $250 monetary bond, as this was after warning.
What says the defense?
We would ask for either direct PTR or ROR, Your Honor.
I'm going to do PTR. No return to the Walmart.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. I think that's our last Osceola case. Is that correct? Okay.
Yes, Your Honor, that is. Have a happy Easter.
You too. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Your Honor, just for the interpreter's benefit, how many Spanish cases are there? Thank you.
Normal. It's okay. We're here today for Ivan Rabana Les Perez. Can the interpreter make contact with the headphones?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Thank
Yes,
you.
the interpreter hadn't said anything because there was no defendant there.
Thank you.
Courtney Daly on behalf of the Public Defender's Office.
Thank you. Steve?
Peter Donnelly on behalf of the state of Florida.
Okay. Ivan Rabana Les Perez, please go ahead and state your name for the record.
Iván Rabanales Pérez.
Ivan Rabanales Perez.
And can you hear the Spanish interpreter clearly?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Has the Public Defender's Office been previously appointed to represent this client?
Not on this case.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you on this case. I'm going to find probable cause. There are 2 counts here. I'm going to find probable cause on both. They are both failures to appear. So I'm going to order no bond. Gonzalo Pestamalan. Please state your name for the record.
Gonzalo Pestana Emiliano.
Gonzalo Pastrana Milian.
Pestana.
And can you hear the Spanish interpreter clearly?
Yes.
Thank you. Has the Public Defender's Office been previously appointed to represent this defendant?
No, I don't know.
Did he fill out a form?
Was it provided to him in Spanish?
That could have been it. I'm going to go ahead and provisionally appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent him. I don't know if he ever got that form or not, but I'm just going to go ahead and provisionally appoint PD's office.
He qualifies for straight pretrial release with the court being inclined to issue pretrial release. He has no prior failures to appear.
Perdón.
What says the state?
You know, the state would be seeking a monetary bond as one of the counts is a felony.
I'm going to find probable cause for 3 counts. And the 3 counts that you're charged with today are count 1, grand theft, 3rd degree. Count 2, retail theft, alone or coordinating with others. And count 3, larceny, retail theft in multiple locations within 48 hours. For count 1, I'm going to set a bond at $2,500. Count 2, $150. Count 3, $150. No return to the scene of the offense.
Y tiene 10%.
Lewis?
So is there a 10%?
Oh, your attorney can answer that question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Luis Rodriguez?
Yes, ma'am. How are you doing today?
Good, how are you? Do you need the interpreter?
No, ma'am, I do not.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and appoint the public defender's office to represent you today provisionally.
I have a private attorney.
Okay, then I won't. Do you want to continue with your hearing today, or do you want to reset it so your attorney can be present?
My attorney's name's Spencer Rhodes. So I don't know what you want me to do.
I can't make that decision for you, only you can make that decision.
Yes, I would like to get my bond set today, please, ma'am.
Okay, so you want to move forward, is that what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and find probable cause today. You're charged with ag assault. I'm going to set your bond at $2,500, no return, and no contact with the victim.
Yes, ma'am. Happy Easter.
Thank you, you too. Lede Campusano,
Yeah.
please state your name for the record.
I'm sorry?
Go ahead and state your name for the record.
Lady Campuzano Rosario?
Do you need the services of the interpreter today?
No.
Okay. I'm sorry? Oh, the victim needs the services of the interpreter. Okay.
I'm like really confused.
Is there any way we can get an interpreter for the victim?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Go ahead and state your name for the record.
Mire, del Teresa Cortés Cortés.
Okay.
Miren de Teresa Cortés Cortés.
Okay. I'm going to find that the defendant does qualify for the services of the public defender, so I'm going to go ahead and appoint the public defender's office. Currently, you are
Determina-
charged with 4 counts. First count, robbery, sudden snatching. Second count, tampering with a witness. Third count, battery, domestic violence. Fourth count, petty theft. And I'm going to find probable cause for all 4 counts. Would the victim like to say something here today? You're not required to, but if you'd like to, you can.
¿Quiere la víctima expresarse aquí el día de hoy? No está obligada a hacerlo. Si gusta hacerlo, puede hacerlo.
Sí.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Bueno, diga.
Ok, este es el tercer caso que ella tiene con DCF. Me quitaron mi nieto porque ella le puso un blanket en la cara. Ella tiene posparto, está embarazada, yo lo entiendo. Pero lo que pasó ayer, todavía estoy en shock. O sea, no puedo creerlo. Lo que sí quiero es una orden inmediata de protección para mí, mi familia. Ella amenazó a mi hija, inclusive le rompió el celular de mi mamá, me agredió en el ojo, tengo rojo el ojo por dentro, que tuve que ir al hospital con el celular y el puño. Y en esta área de la cabeza quiero esa orden de protección, quiero un no trespassing de ella, y si van a buscar sus cosas, que sea otra persona, no la quiero en mi casa ya.
Okay, allow the interpreter to go ahead and interpret that.
Y quiero todo el peso que él se le pueda dar a ella para que
un
aprenda.
momento. Señora, permítame interpretar. Tengo que interpretar. Permítame un momento. Okay, the interpreter just needs a clarification, Judge.
Okay.
Señora, usted dijo que quería una orden de protección para usted y su familia porque ella le hizo algo a su mamá. No escuché esa parte.
Mi mamá presenció lo que pasó ayer, está nerviosa, por lo que me pasó a mí ayer. Temo por la seguridad de mi familia y el que venga de frente.
Okay, solo quería saber lo que dijo en cuanto a su mamá. This is the 3rd case that she has with DCF. My grandson has been taken away, and she placed a blanket over his face, and I understand that she has postpartum, she's pregnant, and I understand that. but I still can't believe what happened yesterday. I'm in shock, so I would like a protection order for myself and my family. My mother witnessed everything that happened, and when she hurt my eye with her cell phone and a fist, and I would like a no trespassing order on her, and if she needs her belongings picked up, that it be someone else and not her.
Would the state like to inquire?
No, Your Honor.
Anything from behalf of the defense?
No, Your Honor, we'd just be asking for a one-time return if you're gonna order a do not return with law enforcement.
Okay. Once again, I found probable cause on all 4 cases. I'm going to go ahead and set bond. Bond for count 1, $1,000. Bond for count 2, $1,000. Bond for count 3, $1,000. And bond for count 4, $250. I'm also going to order no contact with the victim, no return to the residence except for one time to retrieve belongings.
Does Your Honor want the interpreter to interpret this?
Yes,
that portion?
please.
Okay. Determino que hay motivo fundado en estos casos, en los 4 casos, y voy a asignarle una fianza a cada cargo. La fianza para el primer cargo es de $1,000, para el segundo cargo es de $1,000, para el tercer cargo es de $1,000, para el cuarto es de $250. También le impongo que le está prohibido el contacto con la víctima, le está prohibido regresar a esa residencia, le permito regresar una vez únicamente para recoger sus pertenencias.
Pero ella no va sola, va con un policía, ¿verdad?
But she's not going to go there alone. She's going to be with a cop, correct?
I ordered that she's allowed to go one time with law enforcement to retrieve her belongings. That's one time only with law enforcement.
La orden que he impuesto es que a ella se le permite regresar una sola vez acompañada a las autoridades para recoger sus pertenencias, solamente una vez con las autoridades.
Okay.
Are there any other issues that you have for her today?
I'm sorry, is this a question directed?
Yes,
to-
for the victim. Is there anything else she wants us to know?
¿Hay alguna otra cosa que usted quería que sepamos?
Bueno, que si le pueden dar en verdad ayuda psicológica, que le en un hospital psiquiátrico, porque temo por la seguridad del que venga, si me lo hizo a mí, que se lo haga a otra persona. Ella no ha cogido ayuda.
¿Ella nunca qué?
No ha cogido ayuda psicológica
Oh.
por el posparto, por el embarazo y...
Okay. Well, that she be given help, psychological help, because really I fear for the safety of any other person, because if she did this to me, she can do this to someone else, and she's never gotten any help.
Okay. That's an issue for a later day, so I thank you for coming today and let us know your concerns, okay?
Ese es un tema para otro día en realidad, pero le agradezco el que haya estado aquí presente y nos haya expresado sus preocupaciones y
on a
sus
holiday.
inquietudes, en particular siendo un día festivo. Gracias.
Thank you. That was Lede concluded, right? So that's it, that's all the Spanish interpreter cases, is that correct? Okay.
May the interpreter be excused, Your Honor?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Mariela Hill, please state your name for the record.
Mariela Hill.
Okay. I reviewed your affidavit, which is your application for indigent status, and I find that you do not qualify for the services of public defender, so you can hire your own private counsel if you so choose. I'm going to find probable cause in regards to this case. You're charged with battery, domestic violence. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $1,000 and order no contact with the victim.
She qualifies for pretrial release and has no criminal history or FTAs.
What says the state?
State's still seeking the monetary bond, Your Honor.
I agree that the facts of this case deserve a monetary bond, so.
No alternative address either, Your Honor.
Is there no alternative address?
Yes, no alternative.
Okay. Caleb Osorio, please state your name for the record. Thank you.
Caleb Osorio.
please state your name for the record.
It's Caleb Osario.
Okay, I find that you do not qualify for the appointment of the PD based upon your application. Oh, I'm sorry, I misread your check that you put weekly or every 2 weeks. So you paid $600 weekly or every 2 weeks?
Every 2 weeks.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and appoint the public defender's office to represent you then. I'm sorry, your check was kind of in the middle, and I thought it was one versus the other. So I'm going to find probable cause in regards to your case. You're charged with battery, domestic violence. I'm going to order bond in the amount of $1,000, no contact with the victim, and maintain separate residence.
I was told that the victim said they dropped the charges, and as well, I mean,
Only the state can file charges, and you can go ahead and file a motion in front of the judge who's handling the case.
Did we get no contact, no return in that case?
No contact, no return. Maintain separate residence. Gracia Redding. Go ahead and state your name for the record.
Jerica Redding.
Okay. I find that you do qualify for the appointment of the public defender's office, so I'm going to appoint them to represent you. I'm finding probable cause in regards to your case. You're charged with battery, domestic violence. What says the state in the issue of bond?
State seeking a monetary bond, no contact, and no return.
What says the defense?
She has no failures to appear and only one felony conviction. We'd ask for a reasonable bond that she could afford. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. Please disregard what I just said.
It's okay. I believe she is the daughter of the victim, is that correct?
I believe so, yes. We would just ask for a monetary bond that she could afford.
Can I go ahead and set it at $1,000, no contact with victim, no return to the residence?
Yes, with a bond.
Javette Lapointe? He refused? Okay. Thanks.
We resetting that till tomorrow?
We're going to go ahead and reset this case for tomorrow. Danielle McMillan?
Yes, ma'am.
Please state your name for the record.
Danielle Aiken McMillan.
Let me just make sure I understand your affidavit correctly. It says you make how much money per week?
I was working for the police, but I don't know if it's in the system or not, but I kept hearing about it. But I don't make that much. I make it off of SSI too.
Okay, because it says that you're currently making $3,000 a week. Is that correct?
But SSI, yes. That was my income.
She says she gets a social security check for $900 a month.
But I was working for, I went to school for something, and then I looked it up online, and I kept getting paid for it.
Okay, so did you mean to put $300 a week, or did you mean to put $3,000
I
a week?
SSI, I didn't know that I get it yet, but I was working for the police, because I went to school for it, and then they kept asking me to work for them. So I don't know why I'm in jail, and I was making at least
I'm just trying to clarify how much.
$3,000 a week. Like, not a week, but partially every month I was getting, like, off of my checks. But I had to lay off because I had got hurt.
So you're not working right now then?
Not right now. 'cause
So you
I'm
don't
laid
make
off.
any money right now?
Right now I get SSI and social benefits.
So
right
does
now.
that mean she is making money, or she's not making
So
money?
she says she's not working, so that means she's not making money from that, but she still gets social security,
They
which
cut
she
me
said
off.
is $900 a month.
Okay, I'm gonna find she qualifies for appointment of the public defender. I'm gonna find probable cause because there's two counts here. There are two failures to appear. So that's why you're here today, because there were two failures to appear.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go ahead and set that at no bond.
There's also there's a prostitution.
Let me
That one got dropped because it
see
wasn't.
if that's attached. Ask question of your attorney, please. I want to make sure you don't say something that could be potentially used against you. Everything is being recorded here today.
The arrest affidavit only indicates that she has prior arrests for prostitution, not conviction, so we'd ask for a misdemeanor bond on that.
I am looking for the paperwork for that case. I don't see it. See, two failures to appear.
Didn't print off for me either.
Okay, I've got it now. Okay, I'm finding probable cause for the offense of prostitution. Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you in regards to that case. I'm going to set a bond at $2,500.
Huh?
I'm going to set a bond of $2,500 for that charge. Jerry Dunbar. Go ahead and state your name for the record.
Jerry Lynn Dunbar.
Okay. I'm going to find that you do qualify for the services of the Public Defender's Office, so I'm going to appoint them to represent you today.
Ma'am, I can't.
I'm finding that you do qualify for the appointment of the Public Defender's Office, so I'm going to appoint them to represent you here today.
Okay.
You're here today charged with 3 things: disorderly conduct at a public establishment, trespass on property after warning, and resisting officer without violence. I'm finding probable cause on all 3 counts. What says the state in regards to bond?
I don't understand.
State would be seeking monetary bond on resisting officer without violence and ROR on the other 2.
You're seeking bond on which case?
On the resisting officer without violence?
Mr. Dunbar qualifies for pretrial release, so if you're going to ROR him on 2 cases, we would ask that you give him straight pretrial release. In the alternative, he has no failures to appear, and he only has 4 misdemeanor convictions.
Okay, I'll do pretrial release.
On all 3?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're going home. She can't plea you today. They'll do
Okay.
you plea later.
Bye.
Sean Fuller. Please state your name for the record.
Sean Fuller.
I find that you do qualify for the appointment of the Public Defender's Office, so I'm going to appoint them to represent you here today. You're charged with trespass on property after a warning, and I do find probable cause for that charge. What says the state on the issue of bond?
Your Honor, the state would seek ROR in this case.
Okay, we'll do ROR. Thank you.
Never again.
Michael Harris. Please state your name for the record.
Ma'am?
Please state your name for the record.
Michael Harris, sometimes Michael Harris. they call me.
Okay. I find that you qualify for appointment of the Public Defender's Office, so I'm going to go ahead and appoint them to represent you. You're here today on a violation of conditional release. I'm going to find probable cause. What says the state on the issue of bond?
State would be seeking no bond in this case.
What says defense?
The warrant says 0 bond, so I can't make a good faith argument.
We'll do new bond. Thank you.
I don't have that much more. What's the case number on that?
I'm looking for it now. I don't think I have that paperwork. Is there paperwork for another case on this one? This is down on another case. I don't have that paperwork today, so I'll take no action on it.
Pretrial release just said, never mind, so I think it was a mix-up.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
So she won't be able to do it today, remember my.
Yesenia Marcano, please state your name for the record. Okay. I find that you do qualify for the appointment of the Public Defender's Office, so I'm going to appoint them to represent you here today. You're here today in regards to a failure to appear. I find probable cause, and I'm going to set it at no bond. Thank you. Daniel Joseph.
About a week.
Yes, for your training.
Your Honor, we'll be challenging probable cause in this case, so no factual basis in the arrest affidavit.
Okay. Please state your name for the record.
Daniel Joseph.
You're charged with ag assault with a motor vehicle and child abuse. What says the state?
Your Honor, the state would ask for a 24-hour reset to get that probable cause.
I'll reset 24 hours. Oh, go ahead and state your name, I'm sorry.
Sally Beth Rosario.
Okay, and are you the victim in regards to this case?
I'm sorry?
And you're the victim in regards to this case?
Yes, ma'am.
We're gonna reset this case for 24 hours. So what time should she come back tomorrow? Okay, so just come back again around 11 o'clock, okay?
Okay.
In the meantime, he'll still be held with no bond.
I would let you, but they don't.
DeMarcus Miller.
This is April Williams. I don't know where DeMarcus was.
Okay, so, do you want to reset that? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and reset that then for 24 hours. April Williams. Okay, go ahead and state your name for the record.
My name is April Williams.
I find that you do qualify for the appointment of the public defender, so I am going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you today. You're charged with 5 counts. Those 5 counts are battery on a law enforcement officer, count 2, battery on a law enforcement officer, count 3, resisting officer with violence, count 4, battery, domestic violence, count 5, possession of a controlled substance. I'm finding probable cause on all 5 counts.
We'd be asking for straight pretrial release. She qualifies. She has no failures to appear. She has no Florida convictions. She only has 1 out-of-state arrest.
What says the state?
State seeking monetary bond on all 5 counts, as well as no contact, no return.
I'm going to order on count 1, bond at $1,000, count 2, bond $1,000, count 3, bond $1,000, count 4, bond $1,000, and count 5, bond $500.
What was that in?
$500 on the last one, and then no contact and no return.
Was the PD appointed?
Yes, public defender's office is appointed representative. She does qualify. Thank you.
You have a bond. You can bond out now.
Yilmer Cardona,
Yes, ma'am.
please state your name for the record.
Yomer Cardona.
Okay. I find that you qualify for the appointment of the public defender's office, so I am going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you here today. You're charged with battery, domestic violence. I do find probable cause.
We'd be asking for straight pretrial release. He has 0 criminal history and no failures to appear.
No alleged victim here, Your Honor. We don't have an alternative address for him. So we don't know.
I'm going to go ahead and set that at $1,000, no contact with the victim, no return to the residence.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Beth Gardner. Go ahead and state your name for the record, please.
Beth Gardner.
Thank you. I find that you do qualify for the appointment of the public defender's office, so I am going to appoint them to represent you here today. You're charged with battery, domestic violence. I find probable cause, and I'm going to go ahead and set the bond in the amount of $1,000, no contact with the victim.
If we find a new pretrial release, there's no failures to appear, only 1 failure or 1 felony conviction.
No, based on the facts of this case, I'm going to monetary bond. Thank you.
Your Honor, no return?
No contact and no return.
One-time return with law enforcement?
I'm sorry?
Would there be a one-time return with law enforcement?
Yes, one-time return to law enforcement. Gregory Lee. Please state your name for the record.
Tell her your name.
Gregory Lee?
Okay, I find that you do qualify for the appointment of the Public Defender's Office, so I am going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. You're here today charged with battery, domestic violence. I find probable cause for that charge.
We would challenge probable cause. There's nothing in the arrest affidavit that says that there's an unwanted touching.
Let me review it again for a moment. What says the state?
Your Honor, I'm reviewing it quickly.
This is Gregory Lee.
Out of state, Your Honor. He's from Philly, Philadelphia, Your Honor.
Your Honor, there's a witness who states the defendant's hands were around the victim's neck and that there had just been an argument. I think this is probable cause, that the touching was unwanted.
Okay. I am finding probable cause. I'll set bond in the amount of $1,000. No contact with the victim, no return to the scene.
An attorney will come see you within a week.
Patrick Martin. Please state your name for the record.
Patrick Martin.
I find that you do qualify for the appointment of the Public Defender's Office, so I'm going to go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. You're here charged today with battery, domestic violence.
He has 0 criminal history and 0 FTAs and qualifies for pretrial release.
What says the state?
State seeking a monetary bond.
Your Honor, no alternative address and the alleged victim.
Wait, so
The alleged victim is here?
The alleged victim isn't here, and
Okay.
I have no alternative address for him.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and find probable cause for the battery, domestic violence charge, set bond in the amount of $1,000, no contact with victim, no return. Yes.
if it says here, does it qualify for TTR? How come they're saying that they don't?
When the
It says
alternative,
yes.
when the alleged victim's here, so you can tell whether or not they're gonna be able to go home to that house, and there's no alternative address. Possibly if the judge would like, there's an alternative address, but not when it's, we have to have an alternative address in order to place.
That's fine.
Jenna Nicholson. Okay, go ahead and state your name for the record.
Jenna Nicholson.
Okay. I find that you do qualify for the appointment of the Public Defender's Office, so I'm going to go ahead and appoint them to represent you here today. You're charged with battery, domestic violence. I do find probable cause.
Here's, there's a victim present, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead and please state your name.
Jonathan Behringer.
Okay, what would you like the court to know?
Like the court to know.
If you could speak up just a little bit, I want to make
Yes,
sure that I
ma'am. Yes,
understand
Your Honor.
everything you're saying.
Apologize, Your Honor.
It's okay.
Just, it was a slight argument. Just no contact order. I'd like to waive if possible. And
You do want a no contact order?
I do
or
not.
you
I do
don't?
not want a no contact order.
Are you afraid of Ms. Nicholson?
Absolutely not.
Does the defense like to inquire?
Would you like contact with her?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you afraid of her?
No, ma'am.
Would you want her to come back to the house and live with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Does the state wish to inquire?
Yes, do you have separate residences?
We are on a lease on the same residence.
Okay. I've got your address as 820 Main Lane, is that, and then her address as 3347 Oakmont Terrace?
That would be her parents' address, but that address you have for me is correct, sir.
Okay. If you had an incident like this in the future, if there was any physical violence, would you feel comfortable calling the police?
I would, sir.
Nothing further from the state.
What says the state on the issue of bond?
Your Honor, the state would be seeking a monetary bond, no hostile contact, and maintain separate residences.
Defense would be requesting pretrial release. Because she qualifies, she has no failures to appear, no history, and given the alleged victim's testimony, he wants contact, he's not afraid of her, and he wants them to live together. So we'd be asking for them to live in the same residence, no hostile contact, and PTR.
All right, I'll do pretrial release. Thank
Could you clarify on the no hostile contact and the
Do
main?
pretrial release with no hostile contact, and she can live in the residence, and the victim did state that he knows how to contact law enforcement should something happen again in the future. And obviously, if something happens again in the future, that might have an impact on PTR. Fawn Armstrong, please state your name for the record.
Fawn Kayla Armstrong.
I find that you do qualify for the appointment of the Public Defender's Office, so I'm going to appoint them to represent you here today. You're here today charged with possession of cocaine and possession of drug paraphernalia. I find probable cause for both charges. I'm going to set count one bond at $1,000, count two $100. Thank you. William Black,
Yes.
go ahead and state your name for the record.
William Black.
I don't see the application for the Public Defender's Office. Did you fill one out?
Yes.
Do you have a copy of it?
They don't give the copies to me.
Okay, I'll just go ahead and inquire. Are you employed?
Yes.
How much do you make per week?
I make about $250 a week. I work for a temp agency.
May I approach?
Yes, please. Thank you. Okay, I find that you do qualify for the appointment of the Public Defender's Office, so I'm going to go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you here today. You're charged here today with possession of cocaine. I am finding probable cause for that charge and issue a bond amount of $1,000. Thank you. Catherine Bradshaw.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead and state your name for the record.
Catherine Bradshaw.
Okay, I find that you do qualify for the appointment of the Public Defender's Office, so I am going to appoint them to represent you here today. You're charged with burglary with an assault or battery. I do find probable cause for that charge. Set the bond at $5,000, no contact with victim, no return to the scene. Dwight Brown. Go ahead and state your name for the record, please. Oh, okay. Thank you. Kelvis Contrera El Slarano?
Liriano.
Thank you.
Well,
I don't see your application for appointment in the Public Defender's Office. Did you fill one out?
¿Se habla inglés?
yeah, but they don't call me for nothing.
He said he didn't get one. Would you inquire, please?
Yes. Are you currently employed?
Yeah,
How much do you make?
like 3,000.
Per month?
A month.
$3,000 per month? Okay, then you don't qualify for appointment of the Public Defenders, so I'm not going to appoint them to represent you here today. You can hire your own private counsel. You've got three charges here today: grand theft, third degree, retail theft, $300 or more, and larceny retail theft. I find probable cause for all three counts. Going to set bond. Count one, $2,500. Count two, $150. Count three, $150. No return. Chiron Cook.
Sharon.
Okay, go ahead and please state your name for the record.
Oh, Sharon Cook.
Okay. I find that you do qualify for the appointment of the Public Defender's Office, so I am going to appoint them to represent you here today. You're charged with possession of methamphetamine. I find probable cause for that charge, and I'm going to set bond in the amount of $2,500. Thank you. Christopher Denson, please go ahead and state your name for the record.
Christopher Benson.
I find you do qualify for the appointment of the Public Defender's Office, so I am going to appoint them to represent you here today. You're charged with sale or delivery of cocaine. I find probable cause for that charge. What says the state on the issue of bond? Oh, I see that it was set by the previous
Your Honor.
judge. $7,500. And keep it at $7,500. Thank you. Next, we have Ogre Door. Please state your name for the record.
Ogador.
Okay, I find that you do qualify for the appointment of the public defender, so I'm going to appoint them to represent you here today. You're here in regards to aggravated assault with a firearm and criminal mischief. I find probable cause on both charges. What says the state in the issue of bond?
State would ask for the scheduled monetary bond as well as no contact and no return, as it appears the defendant and victim have the same address.
Okay. Count one, I'm going to set a bond of $5,000. Count two, I'm going to set a bond of $150. No contact with the victim, no return. And there's an additional case, which is a DUI. Case number, well, that's an agency case number, not a court case number. But in any event, I'm going to take no action on that case today. Vasily Florianovich. Please state your name for the record.
Vasily Florianovich.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and find that you do qualify for the appointment of the Public Defender's Office, so I am going to appoint them to represent you here today. You're charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. I find that you do qualify for the appointment of the Public Defender's Office. I find that there is probable cause for the charge. I'm going to set bond the amount of $3,500. No contact with the victim, no return to the scene. Rory Hafmeister?
Hafmeister.
Ah, okay, thanks. Did you fill out an application to be appointed to the Public Defender's Office?
He's already represented by Nicole Vegas
Okay.
for the clerk's website.
All right, so you're already appointed by the Public Defender's Office, and you're currently here charged with 2 failures to appear. I find probable cause for both failures to appear and set no bond. Thank you. Raymond Harris. He's medical? Okay, we're going to go ahead and reset this within 24 hours whenever he's released. Christina Harvey, state your name for the record.
Christiana Harvey.
I find that you do qualify for the appointment of the Public Defender's Office, so I am going to appoint them to represent you here today. You're currently charged with assignation to commit prostitution. I find probable cause.
We'd ask for a misdemeanor bond. There's nothing in the four corners of the affidavit that indicates she's been convicted of 2 prior prostitutions, only that she's been arrested.
Let me review the affidavit again. Go ahead and set bond amount of $1,000. Thank you. Sherelle Henry. Please state your name for the record.
Sherelle Henry.
Okay. I find that you do qualify for the appointment of Public Defender's Office, so I am going to appoint them to represent you here today. You're charged with prostitution, third offense, and possession of cocaine. I am going to find probable cause for both charges.
We would ask for a misdemeanor bond on the prostitution, only says third arrest, no mention in the four corners that it's, that there's 2 prior convictions.
I'm going to set bond amount of $1,000 for count 1, count 2, $150. There is an additional case of possession of methamphetamine, which I'm going to take no action on here today. Kirby Isaacs. Please state your name for the record.
Kirby Isaacs.
I find that you do qualify for the appointment of the Public Defender's Office. You're charged with assignation to commit prostitution. I do find probable cause.
Same argument, Your Honor, third arrest in the arrest affidavit, no mention of convictions in the four corners. We would like a misdemeanor bond.
Going to set bond amount of $1,000. There is another case of possession of cocaine, paraphernalia, and prostitution. Court's going to take no action on that case. Thank you. Nicole Leibolt.
Yes, ma'am.
Please state your name for the record.
Nicole Michelle Leibolt.
Find that you do qualify for the appointment of the Public Defender's Office, so I am going to appoint them to represent you here today. You're charged with assignation to commit prostitution, third offense, and I do find probable cause.
It says in the arrest affidavit she has prior history. We'd ask for a misdemeanor bond, no mention of 2 prior convictions.
Let me re-review it.
But nothing in the 4 corners of the affidavit.
What says the state?
State agrees, Your Honor.
What are you requesting in regards to bond defense?
A misdemeanor bond for this. We're conceding that there's probable cause for prostitution, just not third offense. So whatever the misdemeanor bond amount is for this.
What's the state seeking?
State seeking 1,000, that's the same we've done on the last, I think, 3 cases.
I'll find probable cause for assignation to commit prostitution, set bond at $1,000. Thank you. James McIntosh. Do we have a James McIntosh or no?
I don't have that. The next one I have is Shannon McNair.
Okay. You might have bonded out. Okay, can you double check that while we move on?
1902 2016. Mm-hmm. 1901, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. Please state your name for the record.
Oh, Shannon McNair.
Find that you do qualify for the appointment in the Public Defender's Office, so I am going to appoint them to represent you here today. You're charged with 4 counts: scheme to defraud, grand theft, 3rd degree, forgery, and uttering a forged check. I find probable cause on all 4 counts. I'm going to set bond, the amount of count number 1, scheme to defraud, $2,500. Count 2, grand theft, 3rd degree, $2,500. Count 3, forgery, $1,000. Count 4, uttering a forged check, $1,000.
Your Honor, he has a first occurrence container for possession of fentanyl, possession of cannabis.
Okay, I'll take no action on that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Charvet Moore. Please state your name for the record.
Charvier Moore.
Okay, I find she does qualify for the appointment of the Public Defender's Office, so I'm going to go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent her today. We've got 2 different cases. One is burglary of a structure, count 1, count 2, criminal mischief. We also have additional case, which is a violation of probation out of county. Do you know what county that is? I think
Says
it's
Lake.
Lake County. Okay, I'm finding probable cause for all 3 charges. For the VOP, I'm going to order no bond. For the burglary of a structure, $2,000 bond. Criminal mischief, $1,000 bond. No return. Anthony Padilla. Please state your name for the record.
Anthony Roman Padilla.
I'm sorry?
Anthony Roman Padilla.
Okay, so I just mispronounced it. It's Padilla?
Padilla. Padilla.
Padilla, okay, thank you. Okay, you're charged with driving while license suspended with 2 priors and moving knowingly driving while license suspended or revoked, which is a Duelis. Appointing the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Finding probable cause on both counts. Count 1, bond's going to be $2,500. Count 2, $100. In regards to your other case, which is a Dwillis, I'm going to take no action today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Miles Penat. Okay, he bonded. Kanisha Price.
Yes.
Good afternoon. Go ahead and please state your name for the record.
Kanisha Price.
I find that you do qualify for the appointment of the Public Defender's Office, so I'm going to go ahead and appoint them to represent you here today. You're charged with the assignation to commit prostitution. And finding probable cause. What says the defense in regards to bond?
Yeah, we would just ask for a misdemeanor bond. There, it just says third arrest in the arrest affidavit, nothing about prior convictions in the four corners of the affidavit.
Okay. Do $1,000 bond. Thank you. Harold Raspin. Please state your name for the record.
First name Harold, last name Raskin.
Okay. I find that you do qualify for the appointment of the Public Defender's Office, so I'm going to appoint them to represent you here today. You're charged with 2 counts. The first is possession of methamphetamine. Second is resisting officer without violence. I'm finding probable cause for both counts. I'll issue a bond in the amount of $1,000 for count 1, and count 2 is $100. Thank you. Violetta Thornton.
Yes, Violetta Thornton.
Okay, go ahead and state your name for the record.
Violetta Thornton.
Thank you. I find that you do qualify for the appointment of the Public Defender's Office. You're charged with assignation to commit prostitution.
Yes.
Find probable cause will set bond at $1,000. Jeremy Williams. Please state your name for the record.
Jeremy Williams.
Find you do qualify for the appointment of the Public Defender's Office, so I'm going to appoint them to represent you. You're here today on 2 separate cases. In the first, you're charged with possession of tetracannabinol. Second is tampering with physical evidence. Third is possession of drug paraphernalia.
I think he is an out-of-county warrant, so I think he's just waiting to be picked up by Volusia. They have so much time to pick him up.
Okay, is this Jeremy Williams or no?
Yes.
Okay, so for the let's see. For the out of county, it's violation of probation. I find probable cause and no bond.
As to the possession of tetrahydrocannabinol, he has already bonded on that case?
Yeah, he bonded on all of the criminal charges. He just is being held 0 bond on the out-of-county.
On the, yeah. Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Like 24 hours to pick you up. They don't pick you up very early.
Darius Wood. Please state your name for the record.
Did we skip over Tyrell White, right?
Let me see. Tyrell White.
Right.
Okay. The bond?
Oh, it was misordered. Okay, I have Tyrone Wright. Is that who you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, so then do we still have Darius Wood or no?
I don't have that one. What's he charged with?
Carrying concealed firearm?
Yeah, I didn't see that this morning.
You just double check, make sure.
Maybe he bonded.
1901, 2023.
Please state your name for the record. Thank you.
Tyrone Wright, ma'am.
Okay. I'm looking at your application, but there's no periods or commas in regards to your take-home income, so I can't find out, or it's not clear as to how much you're taking home per month.
Well,
Tell her how much you make per month.
About $33,000 a month, something like that.
$33,000 a month?
Not 3,300, I'm sorry.
$3,300 a month?
Where do you get that from?
Okay, I find that you don't qualify for the appointment of the Public Defender's Office then. You're charged with aggravated assault with a firearm. I am finding probable cause. Set bond, the amount of $5,000, no contact with victim, no possessed firearms or weapons, no return to the scene.
Thank you.
Thank you. James
McMahon, ma'am.
McMahon? Find that you do qualify for the appointment of the Public Defender's Office.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I put his David on the back of the withdrawal paperwork.
His what?
His David, his driver.
Thank you. You're here today charged with driving while license suspended.
They're just doing your initial one.
Find probable cause, going to go ahead and set bond amount of $500.
Thank you.
Thank you. Maria Neves Rivera? She bonded. Norris Simon? He bonded. Stephen Campbell? Okay. We're back on track. Okay, I find that you do qualify for the appointment of the Public Defender's Office, so I am going to appoint them to represent you here today. You're charged with resisting officer without violence. Going to find probable cause and set your bond at $500. Thank you.
They'll let you have a chance to call.
Jessica Har, please
Yes,
state your name
ma'am.
for the record. Jessica Har,
Yes, ma'am.
please state your name for the record.
Jessica Har.
Thank you. I find that you do qualify for the appointment of the Public Defender's Office, so I am going to appoint them to represent you here today. You're charged with possession of drug paraphernalia and retail theft. I'm finding probable cause for both counts. For possession of drug paraphernalia, I'm going to set a bond of $500, and for petty theft, a bond at $100.
We'd ask for her to be released on her own recognizance. She has 0 failures to appear.
Please.
What says the state?
State's going to ask for a monetary bond. She does have a previous grand theft conviction.
How long ago was it?
It's not telling me on here.
It was 2015.
2000 when?
15.
15? I'm going to keep it at the monetary bond.
What was that on?
Thank you. No return.
Can you make it?
Vicendi Henry. Please state your name for the record.
It's visiting Henry, ma'am.
Okay. I find that you do qualify for the appointment of the Public Defender's Office, so I'm going to appoint them to represent you here today. You're charged with petty theft. I find probable cause, going to set the bond at $250 and no return to the scene.
She gave you a bond.
Tammy Horn.
Yes, ma'am.
I find that you do qualify for the appointment of the public defender, so I'm going to appoint them to represent you here today. You're charged with assignation to commit a lewd act. Find probable cause, set bond at $500.
Ms. Horn is asking for a reduced bond or to be released on her own recognizance.
What's her prior state?
She has 7 misdemeanors, 1 failure to appear in 2018, 20 unknown dispositions.
I'll keep bond at $500. Thank you. Next is Presley
Presley Hugo.
Hugill.
Hugo, yes.
Is that you?
Yes.
Okay, please state your name for the record.
Presley Hugo.
Okay, thanks. I'm going to find that you do qualify for the appointment of the Public Defender's Office, so I am going to appoint them to represent you. You're charged with assignation to commit prostitution. Find probable cause, set bond at $500. You have additional case of possession of heroin, which I'll take no action on today.
Thank you.
Thanks. Naomi Iftikhar?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, please state your name for the record.
Naomi Iftikhar.
Find that you do qualify for the appointment of the Public Defender's Office, so I will appoint them to represent you here today. You're charged with assignation to commit prostitution. I find probable cause. I'm going to set bond the amount of $500.
She's asking for ROR.
What's her priors?
4 failures to appear, 27 misdemeanors, and 32 felonies.
Nope, keep it at $500. Thank you. Betty Logan, please state your name for the record.
Erica Mignon McClure.
I'm sorry?
Erica Mignon McClure.
Okay, that's someone else that I have. What was happening with Betty Logan? She bonded?
No, Your Honor. With Biddy Logan, he was, we have a thing where on the weekends, the fingerprints sometimes get caught in the queue. He's posted his bond, but his fingerprints are still open. Would he be someone that could possibly be released without his fingerprints coming back? If that is, right now, we don't have anything on him. We just have, our preliminary we did was name, date of birth, and gender. Nothing came back. His P&H came back, which means he doesn't have history, but the SID number did not come back. We have to wait for FDLE to clear that in the morning.
Okay.
And he's posted his bond.
Okay,
If
well,
that
maybe-
is allowed, could it be noted on the court order, and we could,
Okay, what wording do you want put on the court order?
maybe released prior to Prince coming back.
Okay, that's fine.
So we're not bringing them up?
No.
I just want to be clear.
It's
for
bond pending, but
Okay,
that's just so he can get out.
that's fine.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome, thank you. Erica McClure,
Yes, ma'am.
please state your name for the record.
Erica Mignon McClure.
I don't see an application for the appointment of the public defender's office. Did she fill one out?
No, I wanted to represent myself.
Okay. If you want to represent yourself, then I'm going to go ahead and put you at the end of the docket, and we'll recall you later. George Rodriguez,
Yes.
please state your name for the record.
George Louis Rodriguez.
Okay, I find that you do qualify for the appointment of the public defender, so I'm going to go ahead and appoint them to represent you here today. Being charged with petty theft, find probable cause, set bond at $500, no return to the scene. Thank you. Jamal Spikes, please state your name for the record.
Jamal Spikes.
Okay. I find that you do qualify for the appointment of the public defender's office, so I'm going to appoint them to represent you here today. You're charged with assignation to commit prostitution. I find probable cause, and we'll set bond amount of $500. Thank you.
Thank you.
Robert Staub,
Yes. No.
thank you. Did you fill out an application to the public defender's office appointed to represent you? I don't see that here.
No, I didn't.
Okay, do you want the public defender's office to represent you?
I didn't think that I really needed the public defender, but.
Do you want to represent yourself?
Yeah,
Okay, I'll put you at the end of the docket then.
okay.
Larry Uribe, please state your name for the record.
Excuse me,
Please state your name for the record.
my name?
Yep,
Larry Uribe.
thank you. Find that you do not qualify for the appointment of the public defender's office. You're charged with trespass on property after warning. I find probable cause. Set bond at $1,000, no return.
He has no criminal history or failures to appear, Your Honor.
What says the state?
Due to the fact that he lives out of state, the state is asking for a monetary bond, but would ask it to be reduced $250.
I'll do $250. Thank you. Go ahead, you're good. Scott Williamson?
Ma'am,
Okay, I don't see an application for appointment of the public defender.
representing myself.
Okay, go ahead and put you at the end of the docket.
That was Scott Williamson.
Yes. Jerry Garrett? Jerry Garrett bonded? Okay.
Your Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Garrett was also one of the ones that the APHIS, we put him on a live scan and it came back with a quick print, but we haven't been able to coach prints because of what's coming back from.
So you need the order to say the same thing on that case?
Yes, if we could say that it could be released.
Can we say the same thing on that order? Thank you. Richard Lewis? I'm sorry? Mental health, okay, we're gonna go ahead and reset this 24 hours, once he is released. Suzanne Mahadio? Okay. We'll reset that for 24 hours once she's released. Taisha Anderson? Are you Taisha Anderson? Okay,
Tashika.
great. Go ahead and state your name for the record.
Tashika Anderson.
Okay. Okay, I find that you do qualify for the appointment of the Public Defender's Office. I'm going to appoint them to represent you here today. You're charged with a couple different things. You've got retail theft and use of anti-shoplifting device on one case, and on another case, you got a VOP. Find probable cause for all the counts. For the VOP, there's going to be a no bond. For the retail theft, I'll set bond at $1,000. For the use of anti-shoplifting devices, I'll set a bond at $150. Thank you. Reginald Jackson?
Yes.
Find that you do qualify for the appointment of the Public Defender's Office, so I am going to appoint them to represent you here today. You've got two separate cases. You've got a violation of probation, which I'm finding probable cause, and no bond. On another case, you have fleeing or attempting to elude law enforcement as count 1, count 2, fleeing or attempting to elude law enforcement, count 3, possession of cocaine, and count 4, driving while license suspended with 2 priors. I'm going to set bond at count 1, $1,000, count 2, $1,000, count 3, $150, count 4, $150. Mercedes Johnson.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead and state your name for the record.
Mercedes Johnson.
Find that you do qualify for the appointment of the Public Defender's Office, so I am going to appoint them to represent you here today. You're here for 2 cases. The first is violation of probation, which I find probable cause. I'm going to set that at no bond. Second case is retail theft and the use of anti-shoplifting devices. I find probable cause for both charges. Retail theft bond, $1,000. Use of anti-shoplifting device bond, $150. Jerome Taylor.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead and state your name for the record.
Jerome Taylor, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay. I find that you do qualify for the appointment of the Public Defender's Office, so I am going to appoint them to represent you here today. Okay, you're here charged with several different cases, so we're going to go through each of them individually. The first one is violation of probation. I find probable cause and no bond. Second case is failure to appear. I find probable cause, no bond. Third case, violation of probation. Find probable cause, no bond. Fourth case, failure to appear. I find probable cause, no bond. Fifth case, failure to appear. I find probable cause, no bond. Sixth case, I find failure to appear, probable cause, and no bond. Next case, violation of probation, no bond. I find probable cause. Failure for a defendant to appear, find probable cause, no bond. And then finally, we have petty theft with 2 prior convictions. I find probable cause, $1,000 bond, no return. Kenneth Jemerson.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, please state your name for the record.
Kenneth Jemerson.
I find that you do qualify for the appointment of the Public Defender's Office, so I am going to appoint them to represent you here today. You're charged with alcoholic beverage, open container. I'm finding probable cause. What says the state?
State seeking a bond of $100. The defendant has a previous failure to appear, previous felony, and some out-of-state arrest and conviction history.
What says the defense?
A nonviolent misdemeanor, we asked for ROR.
ROR. Thank you. Samuel Maher,
Sorry, Your Honor, was the PD appointed in that case?
yes, public defender's office appointed on all charges. Samuel Maherhan?
Majorin.
Majorin, okay, thank you. I don't see your application for appointment of the public defender's office. Did you fill one out?
Wait, that what?
Do you want a public defender? Do you want someone to represent you? Do you want an attorney? Okay, then go ahead and
Yeah.
fill it out.
Yes.
Okay. Did you fill out a form?
No.
How much do you make per week or per month?
Like 3-something a week.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
3-something a week.
Like, is that 300?
You make something per week?
Like $350 a week.
You make $350 a week? Okay. How many dependents do you have?
How many what?
Dependents do you
No.
have?
Do you have kids?
I do, but I don't claim anything.
He says he has kids, but doesn't.
He does have kids?
Yes.
How many?
2.
Okay, I'll find that you qualify for appointment at the public defender's office. You're charged with disorderly conduct. I find probable cause. What says defense?
We'd be asking for a warrant, it's a nonviolent misdemeanor.
What says the state?
State seeking monetary bond, it's disorderly conduct and it was fighting.
There's no failures to appear.
I'll issue a bond in the amount of $250. Wilner Noster, please state your name for the record.
Hello?
Please state your name for the record.
Nasty.
Okay. Did you fill out your form for application of appointment of the public defender's office today?
No, I didn't feel. They just give you one, but I didn't feel.
Do you want the public defender's office to represent you here today?
No, I don't need it.
Okay. You want to represent yourself?
Oui,
Okay.
yes.
All right, put you at the end of the docket. Thank you. Cheryl Washington? Mental health. Okay. There's any other cases besides the 4 going at the end? Okay. We'll take them in their order. First one is Erica McClure. Please state your name for the record.
Erica Mignon McClure.
Okay, and it's your choice to represent yourself here today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How far have you gone in school?
I quit school in the 7th grade. I done went to Mid-Florida Tech before I went to Garden, but I didn't get my diploma.
Okay, do you have any legal experience, knowledge of the law?
I used to work for real estate investors, typing up estoppel letters and stuff. That's it.
Okay. Do you understand the Florida rules of evidence?
Like the statues and
Do you
stuff.
understand them?
Yeah.
You do? Okay. Just for today's purposes only, I'm going to allow her to represent herself. But obviously, if she wants to do that again in the future, the FREDA inquiry will have to be held. I'm going to find probable cause. You're charged with trespass on property after warning. Going to set your bond at $500. Find that you knowingly waived an attorney for today's hearing only. Thank you.
There ain't no way I could plea out.
Not today. Thank you. Wilner Noster. Wilner Noster, please state your name for the record. Go ahead and state your name for the record.
Yes.
Can you state your name for the record?
Master.
Okay. And your choice is to represent yourself today, is that correct?
Yeah, I'm represent myself, ma'am.
Okay. How far did you go in school?
After I'm going to school? Not here, back home, like a... I almost finished school back home, but not here.
Okay. Did you graduate from high school or college?
From college, yeah.
Okay. So do you have knowledge of the Florida rules of evidence?
Yes.
Okay. For today's purposes only and for this hearing only, I'll find that he has waived his right to an attorney. However, a full inquiry will have to be held in the future if he wishes to further represent himself. I find probable cause for the charge of possession of consumption of alcoholic beverage prohibited in public. I'm going to set bond at $250. Thank you. Scott Williamson.
Just for the record, the PD represents
Mr. Williamson, the Public Defender's Office has just informed me that they already represent you in regards to your case for the battery by strangulation and resisting officer without violence. Do you want them to represent you today in regards to your case of possession of drug paraphernalia and possession of cannabis under 20 grams? Okay. You want to proceed and represent yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
How far did you get in school?
Oh, ninth grade?
Okay. Do you have knowledge of Florida evidence?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Do you know the Florida Evidence Code or any of their statutes?
No, ma'am, I do not. I'm just trying to get this, the one that came in on for, yesterday I was trying to plea out on it, so just get done. Like I said, I'm kind of new on this, so I'm just trying to get it done and over with.
Okay. In regards to, I will allow you to represent yourself today. However, you'll have to have a full FREDA inquiry if you wish to represent yourself at any other stage in this proceeding. I'm going to find probable cause for possession of drug paraphernalia and possession of cannabis under 20 grams. I find that he waived an attorney for today's hearing.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to set a bond at count 1, $500, possession of drug paraphernalia, count 2, possession of cannabis, $100. I'm going to take no action on the battery by strangulation and resisting officer without violence. That is his other charge. Thank you. Robert Staub, please state your name for the record.
My name's Robert Staub.
Okay, and you wish to represent yourself today, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
What's the highest level of school?
Associates.
Okay, okay, so you got some college?
Yes.
Are you, do you know Florida statutes?
I'm vaguely familiar.
Okay. And you wish to proceed today without an attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I find that he's waived his right for an attorney for today's purposes only, but a full FREDA inquiry will have to be heard in regards to the future, in regards to another hearing in regards to this case. He is charged with trespass on property after a warning. I'm finding probable cause for that charge and set bond at $500. Thank you.
Okay.
This is the last hearing? Okay, I'm going to go off the record because that was our last hearing for the morning.